Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
She does so many things to help people out. Spiritual healing. She's a psychic medium. She is also amazing at reading tarot cards. She read mine a couple of weeks ago. I'm talking about Ginger Pittman. Hey, Ginger, welcome back. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm good so far.
Yeah, so far. We only just started.
My day's just getting started. I'm just getting started for the day. So far, sometimes the energies, they come in and they drain you completely.
Yep.
So right now, I'm kind of energized. It's kind of like, okay, what today gonna bring me? But I don't know, because the past few days, it's been a lot pulling my energy from me.
So you had an interesting situation the other day. Somebody came in for a reading and then somebody materialized from that reading that was part of a case that was happening in your town, right?
So it's closer to my hometown. I stay in Memphis, so it's close to my hometown. So it was almost like maybe Williston, Grand Junction area, something like that. But I had a regular client came in on Friday, and she came in to make a payment or whatever, and she got a reading done as well. So in her reading, I didn't know that this person was related to her. I had been going through Facebook and I was seeing the picture, constantly coming up. And I seen it like 5 times, and something said, you know what, the 5th time got my attention. I said, I want to see what's going on with this guy, because he was a younger guy. So I kept scrolling and I went through his page or whatever, and he just started speaking to me. And he showed me what happened. And the person that, he showed me that did the killing, it's kind of like came off that could have been a relative of his or somebody that he grew up real close to, but he was robbed and killed. So he was shot multiple times. So the spirits come in and they talk actively, they talk heavily, but I noticed while I was doing his, just visualizing him and pulling certain cards on him, the more I pulled on him, the pain started getting a little deeper in my chest. So it's kind of like maybe during the time that they killed him, he could have had a stroke or a heart attack or something. But I know he had multiple shot wounds, because she came in later that evening, got her cards read, and he came up into her cards. And I was like, well, why is he coming up in your cards? And she was like, that's my cousin. And I was like, are you sure? And I showed her the picture. She was like, yes, that's my cousin.
Wow. And was she coming in because he passed and she wanted to get a reading, but she didn't share it with you? No?
No, she was coming in to get a relationship reading.
Wow.
She got to get a relationship reading and do a payment.
Were you aware of that case, that it had gone down before you did the reading, or after you did the reading, then you looked into it and like, oh wow, that this guy got killed?
Well, it was like maybe 2 days before she came in, I started seeing the guy picture going through Facebook. And I was like, who is this guy? He was real young. So I was like, who is this little boy? And I was like, who is this little boy? I mean, he keeps showing up. But like the 5th time that I scrolled it, he grabbed my attention and said, look. And when the spirit told me to look, I instantly started, digging into things. So I went on his page and I started trying to put it together just off of comments. And nobody gave details of what happened to him. And while I was scrolling, he started showing me visualizations of a face that did the killing. So when she came in and she got the reading done, I described the person to her. She was like, that's my cousin too. He was with him. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't say it.
Wow. So from what you've seen, do you know who the perpetrator is? Do you have a vision of that?
I do have a vision of it, but I don't know him. I don't know his name.
Right.
I just know how he looked. And I know that the bullets that killed him was from that person's gun.
So this makes me wonder, if you were talking to the police, just say, and they wanted to do a police sketch based on what you got in your reading, do you think you'd be able to give that information?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But see, the thing about that, when you're doing things of spiritual nature and matters like that, you have to be careful, because spirits always try to come in and manipulate other spirits. So this could easily be somebody that is being portrayed to be that person. It could be somebody that maybe he has some kind of terrorism or something going on from the past with that person, and maybe that person could have passed with kind of vindictive manners towards the person that they're showing me. So it could be another spirit that's proclaiming to be him talking to me and just trying to get that person in an aspect where he locked up. You never know how spirits manipulate you. When I talk to the spirits of the past, they call me all types of names. They call me all out of my name. And I'm like, why are you so angry?
How do you shut it off, Ginger? How do you do that?
It's hard to shut it off because a lot of times when you ask a spirit to ask them, do they see the light and that you want them to follow so they can cross over? They'll say they see the light, but they won't voluntarily leave. So when I'm communicating with spirits of the past, I may ask them to leave and they'll say no. Or either they'll keep talking past my cutoff with them and I have to just close out. Now, for as shutting it off in general, for as this is what I do daily, is no shut off. Because if I go to sleep and I'm sleeping well, I have a dream, something happened, and it's not a dream about me, but it's a dream relating to somebody else. Then I Google breaking news and there you go, right there on the news. So it's no cutoff for it.
Wow. Yeah. It's, I guess when you do what you do, you're always on. Sometimes you just got to shield yourself from it. How does it feel? How does it work when you do a reading for somebody and you're getting their energy, whether it's a positive energy or a negative energy? Like, what does it feel like?
Okay, so if I'm doing a reading for somebody and I get their energy, sometimes it's overwhelming. Most of the time, my clients cry a lot. So most of the time, it's like they come in crying, and I'm like, "What you crying for? I haven't started yet."
Yeah.
And when I start doing the reading, they just burst out crying even more. And I'm like, okay, so you just sentimental. And then all of a sudden that energy carried over on me and it just give me the past, present, and the future. And it's overwhelming, but at the same time, I have to restrain myself from catching that side of their feelings so I can stay on a business manner. But I know for myself, the same lady that came in on that Friday where it picked up the guy that got killed, she brought her stepdad and her mom with her. And I do what you call a feather scan. And I use black feathers. So if the feathers, if they split, if I see little small punctures in it after I run it across your body, that means you have dark or negative energy. So I scanned her dad first, her stepdad, and I called every sickness he had. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor immediately. So he was like, I feel okay right now, just a little cough. Okay, fine. So I move over to his wife and I scan her and I'm like, okay, so you're gonna have throat cancer because your glands swollen, you're smoking too many cigarettes. She was like, how you know? I'm like, I'm the psychic, you're the client. So I go over to the original client that came in that brought them in. I scan her and I'm telling her, look, the right side of your throat is inflamed. You got swelling on your right side. So you may need to check your lymph nodes and everything because you got a whole lot of sickness getting ready to take on. And I'm looking like all three of y'all got issues or, that's related to almost the same thing, but all three of them were smoking cigarettes. But the one that had the swollen left side, she don't smoke cigarettes anymore. And she was like, well, I don't feel any pain. And I was like, well, the pain is there. You'll feel it later. So I talked to her this morning. She was like, so my whole right side is hurting. And the funny part was, I was like, well, I told you it was going to get you. Now, when her and the dad and the mom was here, I started instantly getting sick off of his energy. When he came in, I saw this black shadow right here at my office door. He sat down and there was an older lady standing to his right side. And I described the lady to him. He was like, that's my auntie. And I was like, oh, okay, she had a heart attack. That's how she died. He was like, yeah. I looked at his wife and I looked back at him and I had this dark image that was sitting on my altar. And I was like, you got something dark on you, dark energy, like somebody doing dark work. You need to try to remove this off you. I don't think he so much believed in it. He didn't do anything. So I told him everything that was going on with him. I told him about the sickness and everything. And when I talked to her this morning, she said that he was real sick. His back, his head, everything that I had swiped on him with the feather scan, that's what was wrong with him now.
Amazing. So Ginger, can you do that virtually, with the feather thing or tapping into somebody like that?
Well, for us, the feather scan, I have to have you there physical. Because what I do is I take the scan, I go up and down your body. So I start with the lower part of your back and I go up to your cranium area. So I crown your head to see what I'm getting off of that. And once I crown your head, I go back down to your arm, all the way down to the inside of the palm of your hand. And if it's too severe, I go from your thighs down to your feet. But he was so severe till he started making me sick. So my face and everything started hurting and I quit. So I was sick for 3 days.
Seriously?
I was sick 3 days off of his energy.
That's, you know what? For anybody that's listening or watching and doesn't really believe in what energy can do, we're all energy. We're all transferring energy. Everything is a piece of paper here is energy. You know, everything is energy. It's just different types of energy, but I totally get it. I've seen it. I've changed my energy, trying to be more positive and just a different mindset in my journey. And I've noticed it with people, that way they react to me. And I don't even have to talk to them. It's just a feeling that's all around.
Right. I know, speaking of energy, like maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I was real tired. So I found one of my clients that was highly spunky in energy. And I asked her, I said, look, can I grab some of your energy while you sleep? And she was like, can we curse on here?
Sure.
She was like, bitch, what you mean? Can you grab my energy? And I was like, bitch, I need your energy. And she was like, how you gonna do that? I say, when you get ready to go to sleep, just contact me so I can lay down. We can lay down around the same time. And by the time you're going into a deep sleep, you know, maybe you'll get a chance to roll over and tap and say, girl, I'm tired or something. But she didn't have to tap in and let me know. But what I did was she gave me permission to grab her energy. She went to sleep. I went to sleep. She was high in energy, but emotionally for us relationship wise, she was slumped. She was over it, tired, over it. So I grabbed her energy. Just Sunday, I kept crying. And I was sick off of the man energy from when he was here. So I had a reading to do Sunday morning. And just so happened, the girl was like, you don't look the same. And I was like, I don't feel good. So I had to tell her what was going on without giving her names. And something said, call this other girl in the group chat so I can confirm to this girl, this is why my energy is off. So I called her in the group chat and she was like, what's wrong with you? And in my head, I'm like, bitch, you know, you let me get the wrong energy. That's what's wrong. But she was like, but I wasn't upset. I said, you wasn't upset as a person in general, but relationship wise, you was over it. You gave up. I was cursing my husband out like a dog. I was screaming, I want a divorce. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, you know
So
what?
I did that.
I feel it because I never want to get sick. And then when I know that I was around somebody who was sick and then I got sick, I'm like, you know, and it's really my fault. And I guess it would be your fault. You knew that the energy would be flying your way.
I did because I actually did spell work for her to get past the relationship. I just thought maybe that the spell work would encounter where it wouldn't be so bad on me. So when I did the spell work was to actually lighten her load up in the love area and give her open love so she could get over that person to find somebody else. And now that I'm saying it and thinking of it, it was kind of like taking my husband out the picture because I was screaming, I want a divorce.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
it worked.
You find that a lot of people come to you for guidance on relationships. Was that like one of the top things?
A lot of people come to me for guidance on relationship. The majority of them come to me for spell and hex removal. So it's a lot of people come to me with dark energy where they trying to get like generational curses, voodoo, dark magic, stuff like that off of them.
Wow. Is that happens a lot? Because I don't hear a lot about that. Yeah.
Every day.
All right, let's talk about that. I want to. I totally do. So people come to get spells removed or hexes or have them put on.
I don't do dark work. I only will take them off. So when they come to me, if they speak to me on a level where they trying to do something dark, I hurry up and tell them they have to leave out, because if you want me to do dark to somebody else, you may get mad at my work and do it to me. So yeah. I had to make sure I'm covered at all times. So I don't do dark work.
As much as it if somebody's done you wrong, and as much as it hurts to say, I'm going to wish them well, I hope things get better for them. It's not easy, but on the flip side, when they see that you're doing so much better because they're miserable, it sometimes it's a way better thing. But the first thing you want to do is just, put that hex out.
Now, let me tell you something. I didn't say I haven't done dark work. I
Oh,
don't do dark work. I did dark work for me because somebody owed me like $6,000 and she called me a bitch. So when you disrespect me and then I see that you're not gonna pay me, then I don't even consider it dark work. Then what I did was I rotated her calendars. If I was doing work for her to get things accomplished, then everything that I was doing to help her benefit, I rotated her calendars almost like reverse, and so she lose everything I help her get. So that's dark for me. That's
yeah.
dark.
Don't mess with Ginger.
It wasn't that dark. She just lost a little weight. That's all. And she didn't get approved for her house. And she got promoted, demoted from a promotion.
Okay. I'm a firm believer in karma.
Yeah.
I always say, just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And so many people don't, and it'll eventually come around. And as I'm learning, sometimes it may not come around in this lifetime if you believe in reincarnation.
But you definitely will see it again.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah. You definitely will see it again. Good or bad. If you're doing good or bad, you could go out and you could give somebody $20 that's homeless, and before that week over, you'll be to gain $80 that you didn't have to work for. So I mean, it's just blessings and curses. I prefer the blessings.
Yep.
The curse area, I don't want to touch it. But that girl owed me $6,000. So yeah.
Did you ever get it back?
No, she never gained her weight back either. And she still stayed at home with her mama.
All right. We won't talk anymore about that. When it comes to intentions, now you said before, about, you want to be blessed. Are there things that you say when you want positive intentions, positivity going around? Is there something that you do?
So a quick spell that I don't mind giving out. A quick spell you can do if you're trying to bring in prosperity, money, business, or something. You can go outside of your house with loose cinnamon powder, and you can speak your intentions into your hand, but it have to be like your left hand. Speak your intentions into your hand and blow the cinnamon into your household. So that bring your customers in. That's why I've been so busy, because I did it Sunday. And
wow. And are you supposed to say something when you do it?
I don't per se give you a certain thing to say. I know with candle work, they have on different candles that you're supposed to say certain prayers, but I do my own handmade candles. But when I do my spells, I pray accordingly to what I want. I talk to God. I do have spiritual deities that I use, but I pray to God. So I pray to God and I just ask him to bless me wholeheartedly, things of that nature. So I don't pray and say, well, whatever this spell is saying, well, I take this grain and this salt, and I don't do that. Do other people do it? I see on TikTok other people do it. I think it's a waste of time. If you go in wholeheartedly and you give God your praise and recognition, he'll work things out for you. So regardless if you're doing a spell or not, if it's for you, it's for you.
Yeah. And you got to ask for it. That's what I've learned.
You got to ask for it.
Yeah.
You have to.
It's okay. It's okay to ask for it. Even ask for a sign. I've done that before. Whether it's from what you believe to be a God, the universe, somebody that passed over, whatever it might be, just ask. Can you show me a sign? I want to make sure everything's okay. Am I doing the right thing? Show me a sign. And a lot of times you'll get that sign.
Exactly. But I tell people, when you're praying and you're doing spell work, do not continuously ask for the same thing. It's like your faith is not there, and you have to believe in what you actually practice. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. You can believe in what you're practicing, and 100% you get that. And a lot of people think that if you're doing work for other people, they have to believe in that work. That's not necessarily true. It's all about your intentions. You're speaking it into existence. So if you're praying on something to happen, it's going to happen with your intention. The other person don't have to believe in it. A lot of people don't believe in you, but you still exist.
But you're saying don't overdo it. Don't ask for it too much.
don't beg. You should never go to God begging. He know your heart. He know what you need and what you want. Once you go to him, take it there, leave it there. If you keep asking and talking and praying and begging for it, it's like you don't believe in him.
Point. Understood. Yeah. It's why you keep asking.
Yeah, you need that mustard seed of faith. Once you take it there, just have faith that it's gonna work itself out.
So let's talk about what you do when somebody reaches out to you. Like, how do you decide whether it's a tarot reading, whether it's a psychic reading? What about if somebody's not sure?
So I had one lady, she used to call and get readings all the time. I finally blocked her. But she used to call and she would need a spiritual reading, but she would book a tarot card reading. And I would tell her, look, if you're doing a tarot card reading, let me do the reading and we could talk between the cycles of the cards. She wanted to talk the whole conversation. So I had to ask her, look, do you realize you booked a tarot card reading, not a spiritual reading? Because if we're doing a spiritual reading, then let me just pick up on your energy and let me go off of that from point A to point B. But she talked the whole time. But most of the time when people call me, they'll call and ask for a tarot reading. And I ask them, is it something particular they're looking for? I usually don't ask that, but when I start dealing with people around the world, they're kind of like unsure of what they want. So when I ask them exactly what is it that they looking for in the reading, is it money, finances, love, or health? If they tell me they're looking for that particular reading, I decide right then whether I need them to come in or whether I want to just do a full layout on reading. But most of the time, it's easy to tell just off of their voice. You can tell when somebody's hurt, in pain. You can tell if somebody's just mentally disturbed. So it's easy for me to grab what they need.
When you say spiritual reading, what's a spiritual reading?
Spiritual reading would actually be somebody that's just, say for instance, somebody called me to book a reading, and while they're booking the reading, I can pick up on different instances that's going on with them. I had one lady, she called me and someone had recently passed in her life and she wanted to book a reading with past life, but she didn't tell me she wanted to book it with on that person. And I told her, I said, look, you don't need a spiritual reading. I say that the signs that you're getting, you're seeing your lights flickering, you're seeing things being moved. And when you go back there in the area where you was looking for them at, but you didn't see them, I said, those people, those spirits are moving it for you. So that's how she come about knowing if she needed a spiritual reading, because she was trying to communicate, but she was saying, I need to communicate through cards. You didn't need to communicate through cards. You do that spiritually. Give me a picture and we'll look at this picture, do a picture reading without cards. I can spiritually inform you what's going on.
Wow. That's pretty powerful stuff. How does somebody reach you?
I have like 3 different lines. You can find me on Facebook under Ginger Pittman. You can call my office landline, which is 901-249-7776. Or I have another office cell phone, which is 901-264-9043. So if you can't find me with all 3 of those outlets, then you can always Google me, and I got 5-star ratings. So if you type in Memphis or Psychics, it'll pull up my name off the top of it.
I always love talking to you, and your stories are just like better than I've ever heard before. And it's like, and based on what you said before, it just happens. It's not like you're looking for it. You were just doing that reading and connected with the guy that had passed away, tragic, the crime.
So this is like the 3rd one. That's the 3rd guy.
I know. I remember you told me when we first met that there was something going on, and I think maybe the police were involved. I'm trying to remember how that went down, but Ginger, always great talking with you. I really appreciate it, and I just have one thing to ask.
Okay.
Please don't put a hex on me.
I would not, never. I would never.
It's funny. You don't know if one's ever been done before. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I know that somebody has never done that?
I would know. I would know because I got a habit of looking at a person's background. If I'm seeing dark shadows standing over you, if I can see images of something being swollen in your body, for as your throat or your eyes look a certain way, I can tell off of that. So everybody, they ask me, well, how do you know if this was going on? Again, I have a strong connection with God. So the spiritual deities, I use them, but I'm gonna go to God first and I'll let him point me in the direction.
Yeah, if you see something, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Okay, I won't even tell you about your throat area. I won't.
See, now you just said that. So what am I going to do? We're out of time. And what am I going to do? I'm going to be thinking about that. So
No, you gonna call me and I'm gonna tell you about it.
no, I told you, don't tell me if I had a hex put on me. If there's something else I want to know. All right. So next time I'm not going to forget. Next time we're going to dig into that.
Next time we're gonna dig into the throat action.
Say that one more time.
Next time we're gonna dig into the throat.
Okay. All right. So, if it's, whatever, it's going to be a week, I'm going to be thinking about that, but I'll let that go.
Okay, so it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay. Then leave it. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. All right. Ginger, always a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.